Okay. Get your lunch here, and you're welcome to this Blogpreneur workshop. All right. And the goal with this Blogpreneur workshop is really to do a deep dive on various topics that concern us as blogpreneurs, and to help you work through that. A lot of the time, I see people say, okay, do A, B, C, D, E, but then it becomes a difficulty for people to follow along because people are not sure how to do it. And that's why I started these Blogpreneur Hangouts. All right. And so these Blogpreneur Hangouts or workshops. All right. So if you do not know who I am, my name is Gertrude Nontra. I'm a blogger and the owner of myonlinebizjourney.com. And I'm really, really excited to bring you this Blogpreneur workshop series. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to wait for like a minute and then we'll get started. Okay. All right. So just wait a minute just so that maybe, friends who haven't been able to make it just yet will make it. Okay, so I'm going to get started, okay? All right, wonderful. Hello once again, and you're welcome to this Blogpreneur workshop. My name is Gertrude Nontra, and I am a blogger. I am the owner of myonlinebizjourney.com, where I show people how to create better content so they can sell their messages better. And in today's webinar, we're going to go over email marketing, and we're going to go over the specific tools, Mailchimp, the Magic Action Box, and SumoMe. Okay, that's what we're going to be covering on today's workshop. So I want you to go ahead and grab a pen, grab a paper, and be writing as I go along because I'm going to cover a lot of stuff. Okay, it's 6:02 p.m. Pacific. I said we're going to start at 6 and I waited for a little bit. So we're going to get started. Okay, and before we do, I just want to make sure that everybody has the link properly. And so I'm just going to check, make sure everybody is okay. And then we're going to get started. All right, wonderful. Okay, great. So now I'm going to screen share with you because I just want to jump right into the content, okay? So I'm going to go to screen share and I'm going to share my entire screen with you. Wonderful. Okay, great. And so if you're watching this, you are seeing this screen right now where I created a framework. One of the things that people do to themselves when it comes to email marketing, when it comes to doing any of this stuff, is that sometimes, sometimes we overcomplicate things. And I promise you, like, I've seen this over and over again. It's a very simple process to start an email list for your blog, and for your business, okay? All you need, first of all, is an email service provider. That's what you need. And there's several of them out there. There's Mailchimp, which I use, Aweber, GetResponse, MadMimi, Radical Response, Constant Contact, Infusionsoft. There's just so many email service providers that you can use, and each of them is for a different level and a different kind of person. And so if you use one and you find that you do not like it, you are more than welcome to start using another service, okay? But I always recommend for total beginners to start using a service like Mailchimp or Aweber. I personally prefer Mailchimp because it's free for you for up to 2,000 subscribers. Okay, and then if you want to upgrade after that, you can. And upgrading actually gives you a whole bunch of other functions that is not available in the free program. However, the free program in Mailchimp still allows you to do a lot of stuff. Okay, so take advantage of that 2,000 subscribers for free Mailchimp that is available to everybody, okay? And then the next thing you want to do is to create your freemium or your incentive, okay? Create your freemium or your incentive. This is what you're going to use to get people to sign up to your list. Sometimes when I go to people's blogs, it's like people will just say, sign up for my newsletter. Well, unless you're a really famous person and a lot of people know who you are, nobody wants us to sign up for a brand new newsletter, okay? And so I personally stay away from saying that because there's just so much competition out there that if you really want to stand out, you have to create a freemium or opt-in incentive that really moves people to opt in into your list, okay? All right. Then you are going to put that freemium or opt-in incentive behind a sign-up form. And the sign-up form is going to be on different places on your blog or website. And I'll give you actually 7 different places where you can have this sign up form. And you know, I will recap that even as we go along in the webinar. You can have a sign up form in your sidebar of your blog. You can have it at the top of every single post. You can have it at the end of every single post. You can have it on your about page. That's number 4. You can have it as a slide in opt-in form. I'll show you that. You can have a pop-up opt-in form. The pop-up has been argued, across the board, whether it's useful or not. I have found it to be very useful. Some people hate it, some people love it. It really deserves to be tested by everybody. And if it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you. But I have found personally that it does work. Sometimes I do agree with the people that say that it's very intrusive and all up in people's faces when people land on the blog, and right after they land on the blog, they get a pop-up, okay? But you want to create that sign-up form. And a pop-up is another way of another form of sign-up form. There's also the welcome page. Some people's blogs don't go right to their posts. It goes to a welcome page, and people utilize that as like prime real estate to get people to opt in to their list. And I understand why, because I used to have a welcome page, and I didn't have a sign-up form there. But what I realized was I was losing a lot of people on that welcome page, and those are people that I could have collected email addresses from if I had, made that sign-up form front and center of that welcome page. Okay. Number 7, you can also have at the top of the website what is known as a hello bar or a feature box. And I'll show you examples of these, okay? So you're going to put your freemium behind a sign-up form. And then if you're using Mailchimp like I do, you're always going to have a confirmation page, because there are spam laws that you have to abide by in different countries. And I know that the Can Spam Act says that you absolutely have to have a confirmation page. Some people, like, this is another one of those things where people argue the usefulness of, but personally, if somebody is going to take the time to sign up and confirm their email to your list, then they really want to sign up, and they are more likely to engage, they are more likely to buy your products, they are more likely to respond to you on a personal level when you email your list. So I absolutely like that confirmation, like that 2-step process of somebody signing up and then getting a confirmation. They confirm that they really want to be on the list, and then they are in the list, okay? And then the next thing is creating your thank you page and delivering your freemium. And of course, and I'm sorry that this is in the way, but you're also going to have follow up Every time I go down there, it does that. But you're also going to have a follow-up with questions. And this can just be you saying, you can do this with your thank you and delivery. But I think Mailchimp gives you an opportunity, to have that last email that goes out. And you can use that as a follow-up to say, thank you for downloading this freemium. If you have any questions, or you could even put the most genius way I've seen this done was by Nick Loper of sidehustlenation.com. Sidehustlenation.com. And what he did was that in his last email that he sent, I had downloaded something, and then in the last email that says, the final welcome, he just put a link to a survey, and then just asked me what my goals were, what my income goals were, and how best he could help me. And I put that in there, and he sent me a personalized response, an actual response saying, hey Gertrude, I saw that you filled out the survey form. You said so-and-so. I wish you all the best. Let me know if you need any help. And I thought that was amazing because it adds a personal touch. That is something I have to employ in my own process. I haven't yet, but that is an example of a very genius follow-up with questions. Okay, great. Okay, now let's talk about tools. So like I mentioned Mailchimp already. Another tool I use is SumoMe. We're going to go over that. And also one I discovered recently that you can use to create boxes to put anywhere you want on your blog is a magic action box. You will also need a hosting service for your freemium, and you can use any of these really, Dropbox, Google Docs, Amazon S3 for PDF files. For videos, you can use Wistia. And then you always want to have some kind of shareable link to the freemium that you can put in your emails to the people. And I'll show you how to do that as well. Okay, wonderful. Then the types of incentives, there's so many kinds of incentives that you could possibly use, okay? So many kinds of incentives you could possibly use. You could have a PDF checklist / cheat sheet of something that is very popular in your industry, something that people need help with, and they kind of need structure. So for instance, I could totally, like this presentation I'm giving is a PDF, I could totally give that out, as, here's an email marketing cheat sheet that you can use. You can do a video tutorial. You can do webinars or courses. Webinars or courses you have done in the past can be repurposed into an Optin incentive. They are actually great for that. And I have used my past webinars, actually one of my webinars my very first webinars I did on Pinterest, I still have that in my email Optin. If you have written a book, you could also include the first 2 or 3 chapters of the book, or you could give away the whole book. I have gotten that. I have gotten whole books that people have given me just as, as an Optin incentive. And I think, if you want to do that, you can. If you don't want to do that, you can definitely do the first 2 or 3 chapters. You can do post-specific opt-ins, and I talked about this earlier on Periscope today, that if you find, if you're beginning, this may not apply to you, but as you go along, if you find that there's a particular post that does really, really well, you get a lot of comments, you get a lot of shares, you get a lot of action, views, whatever, you can turn that into an opt-in actually, and that's the next point. But you can actually make like a content upgrade. So let's say you have written the post and now people have loved it, and you want to show that you know more about the subject. You could create like a nifty, like video walking people through the process you just described in the blog post, and that could be a content upgrade, and you could totally make that an opt-in to that specific post. And this is extremely effective. I have found it to be extremely effective. You can actually turn the post itself into an opt-in where, because as you continue to write blog posts, some of your blog posts are going to get lost in the mass of blog posts that you have. And so the way that you can revive some of those is to, from time to time, absolutely update it, and then include it, include a link to that post as an opt-in for people to, to be able to access. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Let's move on. All right. And so if at the end of this webinar, you want to get in touch with me, you're more than welcome to go to Twitter. I am at @GNontra and get in touch with me there. You can email me at myonlinebizjourney.com@gmail.com. You can also join my email list at bit.ly/emailbuddy. All right. I do not spam people. I only strive to give people value. Okay. All right, so that's for this little presentation. So I'm going to close out of that. And now we're going to move on to, I'm going to minimize this. We're going to move on to actual Mailchimp, okay? So once you go ahead and sign up for a Mailchimp account, and let me see if I can, okay, I'll just keep it right here. If you go ahead and sign up for a Mailchimp account, all right, the dashboard is really easy to navigate. All you have here is the monkey head. If you ever want to go back to the main dashboard, you click on the monkey head. You go to campaigns to actually create your email campaigns. And then the very first thing you want to do when you start out with Mailchimp is to create a list. Before you do anything, you want to create a list. And so you see I've created some lists here that just have like 0 subscribers or 1 subscriber or whatever. So basically you want to go to lists and then you want to create a new list. Okay, so for demonstration purposes, we're going to use this blog to biz event as our list. So when you create the list, you just follow some prompts, you fill out all the information that you need to fill out. Okay, and then you have a list. All right, once you have gone ahead and done that, we can go into the list. And we can go to sign up form. So you go into the list, you click on the list, or you can also do this. You can also do this actually right from here. When you have your the list of email lists, you can go right in here and go into sign up form. So those are 2 ways that you can do that. Okay. All right. So let's click on sign up forms. All right, and then once you click on sign up forms, you have an opportunity to build your own forms. You can do embedded forms, you can do a subscriber pop-up, you can do form integrations. We're not going to go into all that today. We're just going to stick with general forms, okay? So you select that, and then once you select that, you will notice that there is a link here, okay? And now this link here is something that you can use over and over again for different applications, and I'll show you how to do that. But if you just copy this link, all right, and open a new tab and put that in there and just go, you'll see that it comes up to this page, okay? And so as time goes along, as we kind of decorate this form, we're going to come back and take a look at what it looks like, okay? All right, let's go back to Mailchimp. All right, so when you go to this drop-down menu on this list page, you will notice that there's several things that you can do. There's a sign-up form. There's a sign-up thank you page. There's the Optin Confirmation. There is, I don't do the Optin capture, that's just too many steps. And then there's the confirmation thank you page and the final welcome email. And I'm going to show you how you can use each of these you can design each of these and to have maximum impact, okay? All right, so let's start up with our sign up form. It's already checked. All right, so now we're going to design our sign up form, okay? So you can go to build it. When you go to build it, it allows you to add different elements. So you can add, somebody's birthday, for instance, and we will click on that and it will repopulate and that will come up. All right, if you do not want that there anymore, you just click minus and you hit delete. Type that in. They want to make sure you're trying to delete that and then it's gone, okay? You can decide that you don't want the first name or you just click on that and then you just hit minus or whatever, okay? So wonderful. So now we're going to design our form. All right. So I'm just gonna take that away. I'm gonna delete that. I wanted the yellow to go away. Okay, right, great. So now you're going to go to design it. Once you choose the fields of information you want to collect, you are going to go into design it. And you can do several things here, okay? As you can see, when you click design it, there are different things that you can do. There's the body, the form. So we can go to body, and that's the body of the form. And it says the background is white. If you want to change the background, you're more than welcome to go in there, play around with hex codes. Just go like that, you know, and as you can see, the color changes. When you get a color that you want, so let's say I want to do a particular color that is that goes with my blog theme. I click on that, I hit enter, and there it is. There's the form with that color. Okay, so you can do that for the body, but I still want it actually on a white background. So I'm just going to put in the hex code for white, and I just hit enter, and it's done. Okay, all right. Oh, wait. Let me make sure I have it right there. Wonderful. Okay, good. All righty. So then you can go to the forms. Okay, the form itself, and it's going to ask you, you know, the button. You can do a lot of stuff with the buttons. Let's actually go back to body. So this is the foreground. This is the, you know, you can choose different text. You can choose link style, whatever it is. You can just go into body and play around with that. So if let's say you don't want Arial, you can go ahead and choose Georgia, and it's going to end 14 pixels. Well, actually, in my case, I want to make this a little bigger. I'll make it 18, and you know, you can choose your line spacing, and you know, you can be done with that. You go to forms, you can customize your button, and I'm actually going to customize my button because I want it to look okay, and we're just going to click in there, and you see that the subscribe button has changed. All right, you can go to field text and play around with that. All these are not necessary, but if you really want to do it, you can. You can go to like a hover color when it's hovered over, so on and so forth. All right, all right. And so that's really it. You can build it, you can change different things, you design it to your taste, page, header right here to go to this header. So you can just play around with this. It's really, really easy to do. Yeah, so that's it, really. Build it, design it, okay? So once you're done with that, you have a form. Now, let's move on to opt-in confirmation email, okay? So you can do the same thing I just described. So this is the confirmation email that will be sent to the person once that person signs up to your form, okay? We've created a sign-up sheet, the sign-up form, and so once they sign up, they can get this email. But as you can see, you know, this looks a little drab. So it says confirm subscription. Well, they're going to get this. All right, it looks a little drab, so you can, you know, you can edit that and add in, you know, hello. Oh, well, let me write that better. Hello and thanks for subscribing. I just need you to do one more thing, okay? And then you can save that and close it. All right, and so there, we just changed it by just clicking on the text and editing it. You can do the same thing with this, edit that. You can remove it, you can use an image, okay? And then the person is gonna get this email and then they're gonna say, yes, subscribe me to this list. All right, that's for that, that's the opt-in confirmation. Now, actually, I jumped a step. This is the sign up thank you. So they're gonna go to the sign up form, sign up thank you, that's what I actually was looking for. And then the opt-in confirmation. Now, I love the sign up thank you form, okay? Why? Because instead of sending them this email, because this is what's gonna happen. When they sign up, they're going to get this email, which is the sign up thank you email, then they're going to get a confirmation email, and then they're going to get like the final thank you. It's just too many things. So instead of bringing them to this email, to sending them to check this email, what I do is that I have a page on my blog, and I'm going to go to it right now because I want to demonstrate what I mean. Okay, myonlinebusinessjourney.com/almost done. So instead of sending them that message, what I do is I send them to this almost done page. And I'll take a little bit to load because we are on Google Hangouts. So I'll wait for it to come up. Okay, so great, it came up. So you'll see that I said, hey, you know, hey, you're almost done joining my online biz journey community. Just one more thing, please go right now to your email and you will see the following email from me. So you give them some direction because there's some people that have never signed up to an email list before. And so giving them this form of direction is really helpful. And so what I do is I actually go ahead and I copy this almost done page. I go to my form that I'm creating and I put this in here. Okay, and then I save that so that when people sign up to my list from wherever, whether it's on my blog, it's on a pop-up, whatever, they are immediately redirected to this URL. And then the URL tells them exactly what they need to do. So they know if we go back to this page, they know that they're going to get an email from me, Gertrude Nontra, and then it's going to say that please confirm subscription. Okay. So this is a very important step. I didn't used to do this. This has really changed my email opt-in rate since I did it because it just gives them a visual to follow. Okay, and then I tell them, please click on confirm subscription and you immediately be directed to your free downloads. And this is true because when we come back here, so this is your thank you page. You're going to go to, I've told them to go to the Optin Confirmation page, correct? And so they're going to get this email that says, you know, hello, thanks for subscribing. I just need you to do one more thing. I already told them that I need them to confirm their subscription. So they're going to say, yes, subscribe me to the list. And the moment they click on that, the next email they're going to get is this confirmation thank you page. All right. And if you remember my little diagram I was showing you at the beginning, this is the thank you page. And now you can go ahead and edit everything here. So you say subscription confirmed. Okay. So you can change that like I showed you. You can change that. And then right in here, you're going to put, so it says FM. This is called a merge tag and it's for the person's first name. So if the person signed up with their first name, I created a form which had a first name and an email, then it's going to say, Gertrude, your subscription to our list has been confirmed. And then what I do, so let's edit. So once we come here and I'll just personalize this and make it, hey, whoever whatever their first name is, and you can change this. Thank you for subscribing. Okay. And then you just say that here is a link to your free gifts. And then you just go ahead, and it's very easy. You just go ahead and then maybe link it, you know, because you can just link it right here and put a URL in. Once you have a shareable link for whatever it is you're trying to give them, whether it's a PDF or video or whatnot, okay? Wonderful. So that's exactly what you do. All right. And so when the person hits the confirm, yes, subscribe me to this list, they're immediately taken to this email. All right. That tells them here is your, you know, your download or whatever. All right. Or if you don't want to do that, you can immediately send them to another URL. Okay, so this is two places where you can avoid them having to go back to their email to get it. But I would still put a link to your freebie here and still put, you know, the URL here in case you decide to change that around sometime. So just keep that in mind that you do have an option to to send people to this page instead of showing them this subscription confirm page. Okay. And then once you do that, there's a final welcome email. And in that final welcome email, you just tell them, you know, that here is a copy of the information you submitted to us, your first name and last name. If you ever decide that, you know, Mailchimp has all this pre-populated, but you can definitely go in and edit things and add things yourself. Super easy, right? Right. So that's how you set up a list and the sign up forms for a list. All right, okay. Now we're going to go into my WordPress dashboard. Where did I sign into my WordPress? Oh, Gertrude. All right, great, guys. So here is my WordPress dashboard. We've created our list in Mailchimp. Now we're going to utilize the magic action box to start creating some opt-in forms that we can put anywhere we wish on our blog, okay? So I already have the plugin installed. I don't know if this will work for WordPress.com sites. All right, I have a self-hosted WordPress.org site. And there's a big difference. If you want a WordPress.org site, you need to go to a hosting provider, a web hosting provider like Bluehost or Fat Cow or Small Orange or GoDaddy. I don't like GoDaddy very much, by the way, but not to badmouth them. I just didn't have very great service with them. But Bluehost, Fat Cow, I've used Fat Cow for all my websites. They're great. Their customer service is extremely fast, and you can chat with them online and they'll help you resolve your issue really immediately. So yes, so this is going to work with a WordPress, self-hosted WordPress.org site. And so I've already downloaded this plugin known as the Magic Action Box. And you can go to the dashboard, the main settings. You can go ahead and explore that. But what I really want to do is show you how to create these forms. So the first thing you will do is to go to Styles and Buttons. Once you download that, you want to go to Styles and Buttons. Okay, and you can see that I've created different styles over the past few days. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a new style. Okay, we have to create this style before we actually create the email sign up box, but it's super simple. So you essentially come in here and it asks you, different things. Well, how do you want your form to look like? Content copy, main heading, subheading, form elements. This is where you change colors of buttons and such and such. But we're not going to mess with anything because I want you to see how we can change different things around just using this styles and buttons. Okay, so we're going to call this my style number 4 or my style demo. And we're going to save the style. So once you create your style, you save it. And then after you save that, okay, you want to go and create a new action box. So we're going to create new action box. Great. And we're going to create an opt-in form because that's what we want. Alrighty. Okay. So we're going to call this demo form. Okay. So then once you come into create it, you come into new box and then you choose a name for it. You have user styles. Okay. You can go with the default, but if you've already chosen a style, you immediately see that the style we saved is right here in the drop-down menu, my style demo. So we're going to choose that. Okay. And then you can choose the width of your box. And so let's say we want it to be 600 pixels. This is pretty long. And you'll see, we'll play around with it and you can change that. I like to check the enable response form for layout. I like to check the enable horizontal layout. And then I'd like to center the content. Okay, and then it'll ask you as you scroll down and you go to the opt-in, and I'm going to kind of, let me see if I can zoom in on this just a little bit so that it's clearer. Okay, let's see, I think that is a little better. Okay, great. So now you go to opt-in form settings and you go to Mailchimp because Mailchimp is your provider. If you have, and it says right here that right now you can use Aweber and Mailchimp and SendReach. But if you use others, you're gonna have to do something, I don't know. So Mailchimp and Aweber are good, but I have Mailchimp, so I'm just gonna choose that. And then you scroll down and you're going to choose a list. And as you can see, I have several lists right here. And my Blog to Biz event that I created, that I was showing you, we created forms for, is right here as well. So we're going to choose that as our list. okay? To track this, you can, put in different things. I just put in, let's say demo form, demo_form. I just put in demo. And then the text for submit. So we're creating our form, okay? Text for submit. We're going to put, let's say sign up. We're just going to put sign up. We're not going to use an image for our submit form. You can choose a button style. You can create your own button, but I just use the default style. And then you just click along. So when you get here, the email is already going to be populated. But if you don't want the pet to collect the person's last name, all you do is display the first name. Okay? So you're going to collect first name and email. So you just click first name, and then you won't have to collect the last name. Okay? And then the rest of it is really like, stuff that you don't really need, except for Optin copy. So you come to Optin copy, and then you're going to say, get a free demo video on awesomeness, something random. And then we'll add a little bit of subheading, a 3-part series on how to rock it as a blogger, right? You can go ahead and also add in pieces of content here if you would like to, but I find that the main heading and the subheading is just fine, okay? And then you just scroll down. Once that's done, the nice thing about the magic action box is that you can also include an image or a video. So if you want to do that, you can include the image or the video, and it will play right in there. It's really cool. And if you're good with CSS, which is a programming language, you can also put custom CSS in there. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to scroll back up and we're going to save this action box. It says, yes, we want to leave this page because we want to save it. And once that is saved, okay, wonderful. The new action box has been created. Wonderful. So we're going to go into our magic action box again, and we're going to go into our action boxes and see if the demo form is there. And so as you can see, we have our demo form, and there is a specific number that has been given to it. It's important because you can use it in the short code. There's a short code that you can use this number in. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so let's say that we want to put this form at the top of a new post that we're writing. I'm going to go into posts and add a new post. All right. So the nice thing about the magic action box is that when you scroll, so this is where you write your post, right? But when you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that the action box has a little nice widget right here. Okay, and it allows you to select the action box. So we're going to use the demo form, and it's going to ask you if you want it before or after. We're going to put it before. And then we're going to preview this. So now that we've done that, we're going to just preview it. We're not going to publish it. We're going to preview and see what it looks like. Well, we have to save it first, sorry. So we're going to save it first. Once we save the draft, then we can preview. Okay, so you can go ahead and either click the view post or go into the preview, and it's going to open up a new page. Okay, I don't know why that came up in the preview, but we can view the post because it's not even published yet. I wonder why it's doing that. Okay. These are all the little glitches that can happen when you're doing these things. But I'm going to go back. We'll publish this page just for, okay, let's enter the title. Let's make this, I think that's why it's doing this. Let's make this demo post. I think that's why it's behaving like that. We're going to save that. Wonderful, okay. And then we're going to preview, okay, that's why it was behaving like that. And we're going to preview the post. I think it should come up now. Okay. So demo post, but then it looks like because I didn't, let's go back down here. Let's use the demo form because it deselected everything, and then we're going to put it before the post. Yeah, that's all we do. Okay, we're going to save it again. And then once we save that, we're going to go to this page where it says demo post, and we're going to refresh the page. Let's allow that to refresh. And it's taking a while to refresh. Let's sing some elevator music. Dun, dun. Okay, there we go. And so right there is your form, the form we just created, okay? It's right there, beautiful. Get our free demo video on awesomeness, 3-part video series on how to blog it as a blogger. Person enters their first name, enters their email, and they click sign up. And if you want to see how this works, I'm just gonna put this in here. I'm gonna put in like one of my emails that I never really use. So you just want to make sure it also works before you put it up. And then we're going to click on sign up. Okay, and yay, it took us to the almost done page. Wonderful, isn't that great? It took us to the almost done page where I'm telling people to go and please confirm subscription. So that means our form is working, okay? And then we're going to go back because we're going to go change things around. So keeping this in mind, okay, we're going to go into the magic action box and play around with colors, play around with fonts. I already love this form because it's really simple and really like basic and gets the work done. But if you have a color theme for your blog and you want things to match the color of your blog, for instance, you can definitely do that by just going into your styles and buttons. Once again, I'll close a few of these pages so that everything goes a little faster. Okay, you can go into your styles, and then you can go into the style that you want to actually edit. So we're going to edit, and that's my style demo, the one we just created, and we're going to edit that. Okay, and then it says background. We can change the background color. I think I'm not going to change. Okay, maybe I'll change it to like plain white. Okay, you can also have a background image. Ooh, I'll show you how to do that. You can the border. You can mess with all of this. What I want to kind of mess with is the content copy. Okay, so you can change this, or you can change the main heading. Actually, the main heading is good. And the heading color, I want to change that to a color that I use on my blog, which is this hex code. This is why it's good to write down your hex codes and know the colors. And I'm going to keep the inherit font. I'm going to keep the size, and then you just save the style. And so you can just do this for anything that you want to change on your form. So once we do that, it's going to change on our form immediately. And so if we go back here and then we just go ahead and refresh our page, you will notice, and sometimes this happens when okay, we're going to save it, and then we're going to clear our cache, because sometimes when I don't clear my cache, things don't really save in WordPress for me. So I'm going to go here and empty all caches or caches. And this is something that you have to remember if you're using WordPress, that when you save something, when you update something, and it's not reflecting on the blog, it's not reflecting on the page that you just changed, a really quick tip is just to empty. Make sure that you have everything saved and empty all caches or caches, however it's mentioned. I have to go look at the dictionary pronunciation. And once you edit that, okay, great, we have that. And then we'll go in here and try that again. Waiting in suspense. Okay, so it should come up. It's just being slightly slow. There we go. And you can see that I changed the background to complete white, right? It's changed. And also this has changed. Get a free demo on awesome video on awesomeness. And then, you know, so you can really play around with different elements with the action magic action box and create beautiful sign up forms. You can put this at I would put this at the bottom of a post. You could put this at the top of a post, but it's going to look too intrusive. So you could create something that is more slender. You could decrease the size of the font so that it becomes a little bit more leaner looking. Let's try that. Let's make this look a little lean. Okay, let's go into our general. And then we're going to go into the main heading. And the way we can do that is just to change this. So let's make this like 16, for instance. And then let's make the subheading a 12. Let's see if that will help us reduce the size of our thing. So we'll save that. And then after that, we're going to empty the caches. And then we're going to go here. Once it's done refreshing, I'm going to refresh that. And this should get a little smaller because we reduced the font. Okay, so as you can see, it got a little smaller, but now it's looking really weird, right? Yeah, so you have to be careful with that. Is if you were going to just probably going to just stick with, so you will have to play around with this for a while sometimes, but I think I liked how it looked before. So I'm just gonna keep what we had originally. But you see how we can just kind of play around in here and change that around. So 22 pixels it was. I'm gonna save it. And that's exactly how you can use the magic action box to create a sign up form. I'm gonna empty all the caches and we're gonna create a sign up form for our sidebar as well. And I'll show you how to do that really easily just using the magic action box. Okay, all right, so we'll go back there. It should come back to normal. So I think we made it too small, so then it became kind of weird. But if that's the case, then you probably just want to write one line of text. You don't want to use 2 lines of text just to make things simpler. So we're back to how it looked like before. Okay, great. All right, so now we're done with that. I'm just gonna go ahead and close that page. And then I'm gonna show you how to just create one for your sidebar, okay? So we're just gonna go into a new action box. It's just the same principle really. But at this time, I'm gonna show you how you can use an image with your action box, okay? So I already created an image that was 300 by 400 pixels. I created that in Canva, all right? And now I'm going to go into the styles. I'm going to choose a new style because you always have to go to your styles first. And we're going to create a new style. And I'm just going to call that sidebar demo. And I'm going to show you how you can overlay an image. Sidebar demo. I'm going to show you how you can overlay an image. So let's keep everything here the same, okay? Except now you can have a background image, okay? So you can just go ahead and upload your background image. And I'm just going to use one from my media library. I already have it uploaded. And I'm going to put it right, you can show that. And then I already said it's a 300 by 400 pixels. So that's what we're going to make our form use this image. Okay. All right. So now we have an image uploaded and we're not going to change anything else. We're just going to go ahead and save the style. And since our form is a 300 by 400, our picture is a 300, we want to keep the box the same way. Okay. So we've created our sidebar demo. We're going to create a new Optin form. Okay. And we're going to call it sidebar demo. Right? And then, of course, we're going to go to our user styles, choose our sidebar demo. We're going to set our width to 300 pixels. We're going to, you can enable all this, but this time we're creating we're going to center the content. Go to Mailchimp. So over here, the reason I didn't choose these two, well, we can enable the responsive format because you want that to show on a cell phone. Responsive just means it shows the same way on a cell phone and on a tablet and a cell phone. Okay, it adjusts the width of things. Okay, so we're going to enable that. We're going to center the content. We're going to choose our lists. Our Mailchimp, choose a list. All right, we're going to name it something, sidebar demo. We're going to say sign up for our text submit, text for the submit button. And yeah, we're just going to click on first name and we'll come down here and just write sign up for wonderful stuff. And then we'll just 3-part video on rocking it as a blogger. Okay, and very simply, we're done with that. We'll just go up here, save it. I'm going to confirm that. I'm just getting a drink of water. And my internet is acting really, really slow today. I sincerely apologize for that. Okay, and so that is now done. Now let's go to that post. Actually, let's not do that. We can go to that post and I can show you what it looks like, but I want to show you how you can input it into your sidebar. Okay, so you're going to go to a magic action box again. You're going to go to the action boxes. It's going to give you the list of boxes, and once it gives you the list of boxes, remember I told you about this ID number, correct? All right, it is 1251. Okay, now when you go into the post we created, well, let's go to all posts. When you go into, let's remember that 1251. When you go into the post you created, demo post, and then we edit that, I want to show you something really quickly that I think is extremely important. And they give you the short code that you can use. So right here, it gives you the short code. It tells you that you may use this, or you can also use the short code magic action box ID equals these what do we call these? Quotes, yeah, open quotes and close quotes, and you're going to put the action box ID number right in here. Okay, all right, so let me show you how to do that in your sidebar. What you want to do is you want to go to appearance and you want to go to widgets. Once the widgets page loads up, okay, this is our primary sidebar. What we're going to do is we are going to have some text. We're going to include some text. So this is where, yes, text. So arbitrary text or HTML. We're just going to go up, 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 up to right here. Well, not to the footer, but I'm just going to pull this higher. Let's put this right here, okay? Put this in our actual primary sidebar. And then we're going to do, and I closed it out, okay? Going to open that and put magic action box ID equals, then we're going to put in our quotes 1251. Okay, we're going to close the quote. We're going to close the quote. We're going to close that. So we use these little brackety things. Okay, and then we can put a title up here that says join our list. And then we're going to save that. And if we go to our website, let me go to our website right here. We're going to refresh the page. And once we refresh the page, and if it doesn't refresh, then that's just an indication that I need to empty my cache or cache. I really need to find out what that's called. And then there you go. We're going to scroll down, and right there, you see the form. Okay, you see that the form is there, but of course it needs some work. This is like too small right here. It looks really awkward. So why don't we go in there and change things around? And we can make this, so this is a form that is about 300 pixels. It's 300 pixels wide. And so we can make our first name and our email fields about 280 pixels. That way they stretch all the way and they don't look weird. And then we can do the same thing for the sign up form, and we can probably change the text, a little bit so that it's not all to one side. Okay. Or if you don't want to do that, you could also create a smaller. But do you see how the image I uploaded came behind our sign-up form? Isn't that cool? That is really cool. That's one of the reasons I love this magic action box, because you can really do a whole bunch of things with it. Okay, all right. So we can just go ahead and I've shown you that already. You can just go ahead and go back into your magic action box, play around with the styles and buttons and the sizes. And so in this case, what we would want to do is to go into the styles and buttons again and choose our particular style that we want to edit. And we would play around with the width of the, of the things. So if you go here, general, and you scroll down, you can go to form elements. If you want to change things on the form, you want to go to form elements, and then you scroll down to input boxes. Okay, input boxes. It tells you what text, the font size, whatever. You can change that. But what you can also do is you can change the input field width. And so right here, it's already been set to 150. You want to change that to about 280 so that it stretches across. Okay. So we've changed that. And then there's also the submit button that you can also change. If you go down, you'll see that you have several options. And we're going to set that to 280 as well. Okay. And then we're going to save the style. And once we save the style and we go back in there, and we should close this. If we go back in there and do that, it should have updated, but it didn't. And so, that is okay. What we need to do, once we have saved, we've made sure we've saved this. Let me scroll down, make sure we save this. Once again, I'm going to clear the cache and I'm going to refresh. Okay, so that's another thing, is every time you see this kind of problem, you want to empty your caches. Make sure you saved your stuff though, and then you empty it. And then we're going to just hit on that refresh button. And you'll see that it will change around to how you want it to look. Yep, there you go. See that? See, it changed, and it says join our list, and it changed to how we want it. Okay? All right. That is wonderful. And so you can just play around with that, play around with the different settings. I'm sorry, I keep coming to this, but remember how I told you that we will change things here? So if you change things, you see, this changed to the color that we chose in the beginning. Okay, wonderful. Let's close that page now. Okay, So that is how you can use the magic action box to add a sign up form. And I'm going to go ahead to my widgets and delete that because I actually don't want that form there. But that is how you can use it to add a sign up form to different portions of your blog or website. And we're going to go ahead and delete that. Okay, and so that's deleted. Okay, wonderful. So now the next thing I want to show you is how to use SumoMe. And then if we refresh this, it should have gone away. How to use SumoMe and the different features you can use in SumoMe to actually create different forms. SumoMe is great because it's a free tool, and yet it just does so many things for you. I cannot sing the praises of SumoMe enough. Okay, and so to use SumoMe, you actually don't need to be signed in to your WordPress. So I'm just going to log out of that. Okay, let's close that. And then this is just me opening another page of me. Okay, but we're going to go to my blog once again. When we go to my blog, I'm going to show you how to customize your SumoMe. Okay, so here's my blog, and SumoMe will usually show up at the corner of the blog right there. Okay, and so you go ahead and you sign up into it. So I'm going to sign into it. Okay. And there's several elements that you can use. Okay, you can use a smart bar, you can use a list builder. So the smart bar, I have it on my blog. And if you want it on or off, you can just do that by just like clicking there. It's paused right now, or you can go there and it's active. Okay, if you click pause, it will not show. If you click active, it will show. Okay, and then you can go into design to design it. Same idea. This is the kind of the hotbar that I have. You can make it small. You can make it. You can choose different things. If you but these are all for when you pay for the app. I think it's $20 a month. All right, and you can change that. And as you can see, I've included my Mailchimp URL right here. So this doesn't allow them to input their name or email. All I do is I have this 30 blog post triggers, so you never run out of ideas. Download now. Now the download link is a link to this Mailchimp, this special Mailchimp URL, like I showed you before. If we take that, edits, and we copy that, and we go right there and paste it, you'll see that it's just, and we just go to the, you'll see that it's just a form, right? Right, wonderful. So instead of actually having them put that in, I'm just having them click on the download now. It takes them to the sign up form, and then they can sign up. Okay, yeah. So just basically write all that, put in your different colors. So there's the smart bar. You can set the behavior. Okay, so that shows up. So I don't show it to people again. If they come to my website and then they don't show up for, they show up the next 24 hours, that's when it's going to show up again. But if they're on my website and it's been 4 hours and they come back to my website, they don't see it again. The placement, you can show it at the top of the blog or the bottom. As you can see, you can have it move along with the reader, stay static, or, smart. And of course, I can preview it. And as you see, it's really easy to preview to see what it looks like. Okay, wonderful. So we're going to click out of that. So that's the smart bar. You can use the list builder, which is a pop-up. All right. Okay, the list builder is a pop-up, and I've paused it right now because I'm just doing a few tests. And you can also do the same thing in the pop-up. We'll close that. We can go to they just came up, well, they have the scroll box. I'm currently using the scroll box on my blog. And it's a similar thing. If we go into behavior and preview it, you'll see that this is what it looks like. I've kind of maximized the page, so it's taking up the whole page, but usually it'll show up. Sorry, I burped. It'll show up when somebody goes to a post. I've set it so that I've set it in the behavior so that people only see it when they go to a post I've written and they scroll 30% down the post. Because if somebody scrolls 30 or 40% down your post, it's very likely that they're very interested in your content. So why not like invite them to join your email list, right? And so I have that show up and I tell them what they're going to get and they put their email in and then just an email button. That's an easy one you can use as well. And then recently, AppSumo came up with this welcome mat. I haven't tried this on my blog. I would like to try it. I think I had like one subscriber here and there sign up, but I paused it currently. And all it is, it's once you design it, you can design it. I just designed one this afternoon. Just, go ahead and write all of that. And then behavior, you can have it show, do not show welcome mat to same Vista. And as you can see, like I have included my almost done page here as well. So after they successfully sign up, it goes to this page and then they total confirm and it's all linked to my Mailchimp, okay? And so let me see, let's scroll to, I want to do the preview so that you guys can actually see it. Right, there we go, advanced. So we can preview it. And if you preview it, people, when they come to your blog, will see this form first before they get to your blog. Do you see that? Do you see that? They will see this form first. So it says, get your first 1,000 blog visitors, a step-by-step guide for beginning bloggers. And the person puts their email. They can decide to submit or say no thanks, or they can click on here to go straight back to your blog. That's how easy it is to have the welcome mat. I don't know my feelings on the welcome mat just yet. I feel it's a little intrusive when people have just landed on your blog. And so I personally probably wouldn't use it for now until my blog is much, much bigger, okay? But if you want to try it out, you're more than welcome to. This is all about testing. And so those are the 4 tools that you can use with SumoMe. You just go to SumoMe or Google AppSumo and you can download it. I think it's SumoMe, right? SumoMe. So Sidebar, the list builder, the scroll blocks, and the welcome mat are all different variations of sign-up forms that you can use on your blog. Okay, now before we go, I told you that there are several places you can put your sign-up form. You can put it on your sidebar, the top of a post, end of a post, about page, your slide. You can do the slide in like I showed you. I have people scroll 30%, and then I have a sign-up form that slides in from the side. You can have a pop-up. You can have a welcome mat. That's kind of like a welcome page. You can have stuff at the top of your website, like I showed you. I had one that the smart bar up here. Some people, and I want to show you Derek Halpin's blog. He has like this really nice picture of him up here, and it says be on top of your business game. This is kind of like the welcome mat also, because you scroll down and then there's this blog. But you can get free updates, and when you click on that, it takes you to the sign up form. That's pretty neat, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to click out of that. And so you can have that. That's people call it a feature box. SumoMe calls it a welcome mat. There are different names people use for it. Another example of a form that is on top of your page is here on Marie Folio's blog. She has this bar that is right beneath her blog header. And right here, it's very non-intrusive, just says, get free tips on how to create a life and business you love. And you put in your first name and email, and then you just click on submit. So those are just examples of how you can use a sign-up form at the top of your blog, okay? All right. So I'm going to close a few things out so that we can actually come back to, you can actually come back to seeing my face. All right, I'm going to switch on the lights. Pardon me. Okay, so I'm going to stop screen sharing. And we're going to come back. Hey, are you guys hanging in there? I hope you've hung in there the whole time. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and really getting this content. Okay, so I've shown you how you can use Mailchimp, how you can use the magic action box, and how you can use the SumoMe plugin on your blog to start collecting emails. And the nice thing about SumoMe is that you do not need to have a WordPress blog. You can do this on Blogger, you can do this on Squarespace, you can do this on any blogging platform. So that's good for those of my friends who don't necessarily have a self-hosted WordPress blog, okay? All right, now that we've learned the different ways that you can start collecting emails, how do you collect emails? How do you get people to your blog? You have to drive traffic to your blog. That's the only way you're going to start collecting emails. And blog traffic generation is a whole other topic that I'm not going to cover today. Okay, and I'm going to move my screen a little bit towards me. I'm not going to cover today, but a great way to get started is to start guest posting. Okay, start guest posting. I was really, really nervous about guest posting when I started. But once I started guest posting, I got more people to see my blog, and there were more people that, I'm trying to change something here. There were more people that saw my blog, and then those people would land on my blog, and of course they would sign up to my email list. Now, here's the thing. Here's a trick you can use. Every time you go to somebody's website to guest post, okay, instead of just having a link that just leads back to your website, create a link that leads to your sign up page. So for instance, if you go to my blog, and let me demo this because I want you guys to see. Let's screen share once again. We're going to share the entire screen. Okay. Let's go to my blog. Okay. So if you go to my blog and we go to the blogging mini vault. Okay, we go to the blogging mini vault. You'll see that I say that, oh, you know, instant access to the members only blogging mini vault, and I tell them what it includes, and then I have this sign up form, which I need to change because it looks kind of hideous, right here that leads people to sign up. I've gotten signups here. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to create a page on your website that has some kind of sign up form. All right, and once you have that sign up form, just like I have on this blog, I actually created this just using the Mailchimp code. But don't do that. I just showed you how to use the magic action box. Be a good student and use that. I'm going to be a good teacher and use it. Once you do that, you want to copy this link every time you write a guest post. And instead of having people just come straight to your blog, into posts, have them land on this page where you're offering them something. Do you see what I mean? Have them come to some sort of landing page that leads them to a sign up form. All right. That is a better use of your links. That is a much better use of your links when you guest post, okay? And you can use this across several things, like when you write your emails, when you share your blog online, you can just have people land on the page where your sign up form is. If they don't want that, they will go to your blog where your blog posts are. Okay, but at least show them that there's some mechanism, like you would love to be friends with them, because if they read your guest post and they were interested enough to come to your blog, there's a likelihood they would love to connect with you. Does that make sense? Okay, great. So guest posting is one, webinars are one. Ever since I started doing webinars, my email list always grows and gains followers when I do a webinar and when I advertise it on Facebook or use, like even Pinterest to promote it. So do a webinar and promote it. One of my friends made like $8,000. My friend Corey, he made like $8,000 in one weekend just by doing webinars. And pre-selling his course. He got $8,000. And so it's that easy to do that. Not that easy to make money, but easy to do a webinar. I showed, oopsies, let me turn on the light. I showed you let me show, This is what can happen when you're doing webinars, by the way. So be ready for anything, because you're live and anything and everything can go wrong. All right. So webinars are a wonderful way. Guest posting is a wonderful way. And then, of course, you want to actively promote your blog. If you want to learn more ways to promote your blog, you can go to my blog and go to a blog I wrote on blogger outreach. Blogger outreach. I included 27 plus different tools that you can use to effectively promote your blog and start getting eyes to your blog and start getting people signing up for your email list. Because here's the truth: if you don't have traffic, you don't have subscribers. It's as simple as that. And of the traffic that comes to your blog, you're going to get, like right now, I'm at a between 2 to 3% opt-in rate. That's where I am. And it's not strange, because actually, like, even some of the bigger bloggers, much bigger than me, who get like millions of views every month, they're getting between 2, 3, that, you know, it's very rare to hear that somebody's getting like a 10% email subscriber rate from all the traffic they get. So if you're getting 1,000 visitors to your blog every month, you can expect between 20 and 30 people to sign up. So just think of that. Think of that math. You know, is if 2% to 3% are signing up, and let's say you are so awesome that your rate is 4%, right? If 1,000 people come to your blog, then just 40 people are going to sign up to your blog every single month. So if you want to increase that, then it just makes sense to increase the traffic. And also be always in touch with your numbers. So like I was just saying, that I know my email subscriber rates because I have Google Analytics that is entwined with my Mailchimp. And so I have that set up already. And so when I go into my Google Analytics, I can tell which pages are converting people to subscribers, which ones are doing better, which ones are better, and also calculates the overall, like, site-wide email subscriber rate. And mine has stayed around 3%. So just think of that. It just means you have to increase traffic to your blog. And so you find ways. And if you go to that blog post, blogger outreach, I think if you go into my search, the search function on my blog, you can just type in blogger outreach. You should be able to find that post, read it, use it. I gave so many resources in that post. A lot of them are not even my own resources. And then just use them to build up traffic to your blog, okay? All right, and so we're right around 7:17 p.m. my time, which means we've officially gone over an hour for this workshop. I hope you were able to take notes. I hope all the instructions I gave were extremely useful for you. I think I'll probably do a tutorial on how to and actually I will not do it. If you go into YouTube and just type, if you want to learn your email subscriber rate, just type in Google Analytics. How do they? It's called goal. You set a goal in Google Analytics. You set a goal. So I probably will just do a video. I have a video already on that is in my Udemy course, but I'll just make that available for free on YouTube so people can have access to that. Okay, and it's really, really helpful because I'm all about knowing your numbers and knowing where you stand with everything. And one of the numbers I want to know constantly is my email subscriber rate, what's doing well, what's not doing well. One of the numbers I want to know is how many people are opening my emails, how many people are not opening my emails, how many people are subscribing and unsubscribing. And if your unsubscribe rate is higher than your subscribe rate, then you have a big problem. You know, if people are always going to unsubscribe, and that's okay, because there are people that, they may be having a bad day, and that day they just decide to unsubscribe from your list, or that day they just are tired of having so many emails. Never take it personally. Never take it personally. There are people who just want the freebie that you offered and they sign up and they immediately unsubscribe. Don't take it personally. There's still going to be some people that will stick with you in the long term. However, if you do have a very high unsubscribe rate, it may mean that your emails are too spammy and you need to change that up. Okay? All right. So 3 numbers to know: your unsubscribe rate, your subscribe rate, your open rate of your emails. And you can get all of this. Ooh, I hope the light doesn't turn off. You can get all of this in you can get all of this in Mailchimp, and then using Google Analytics, you can track your overall email subscriber rate to your blog. Okay, all right. So this is where I'm going to end this. I think I covered everything. I'm going to just look over my notes. I've covered everything that I wanted to give you guys. You know how to get in touch with me. I'm on Twitter at @GNontrah, GEENONTERAH. My website is myonlinebizjourney.com. I showed it throughout this whole thing. You can also email me at myonlinebizjourney@gmail.com. All right, guys, it was fun hanging out with you. Have a great, great, great night. And I look forward to catching you on the next workshop. All righty, bye.